In a quiet neighborhood ruled by strict HOA policies, a retired veteran proudly raised the American flag in his front yard. For him, it was more than fabric. It was a symbol of sacrifice, honor, and the years he served his country. Neighbors admired the sight, some even inspired by the patriotism it brought. But while the community saw pride, the HOA board saw defiance. Within days, a violation notice arrived, demanding the flag's removal. What seemed like a simple display of patriotism was about to spark a conflict that would shake the neighborhood to its core. The notice claimed the flagpole violated aesthetic guidelines of the HOA to the veteran. It felt like an insult to everything he stood for. He provided federal statutes protecting his right to display the flag, hoping reason would prevail. Yet the board dismissed his arguments, citing their rules as final authority. Neighbors whispered in disbelief, some siding with him, others fearful of challenging the HOA. What should have been a straightforward matter of respect quickly escalated into a test of power. The flag remained standing, but so did the HOA's determination to tear it down. The board responded with relentless fines, citing daily violations until the flag was removed. Anonymous letters appeared in the veteran's mailbox, accusing him of being selfish. His mailbox was monitored, his lawn scrutinized, every detail of his property suddenly under the HOA's microscope. Yet through the pressure, he refused to yield. The flag waved proudly each morning, a silent reminder of resistance. What started as a dispute over aesthetics was now a battle of principle, where one man's stand against control became the talk of the entire neighborhood. The HOA was far from finished. The neighborhood fractured. Some neighbors rallied behind the veteran, voicing outrage at the HOA's disrespect. Others avoided the conflict, fearful of retaliation themselves. Online forums lit up with debates as screenshots of the violation notices spread across community groups. The veteran, once quiet and reserved, became a symbol of defiance, his front yard a battlefield for freedom. The HOA, unwilling to lose face, doubled down with threats of legal action. What began as a single notice had spiraled into a controversy that reached beyond property lines. And the next HOA meeting promised to be explosive. The community hall overflowed with residents, some waving small flags in silent support. The veteran presented federal law, clearly stating HOAs could not prohibit displays of the American flag. Gasps echoed as his attorney cited cases where similar boards had lost in court. The HOA president, red-faced and defiant, insisted rules were rules, claiming exceptions would undermine order. The room erupted in anger, residents shouting over one another, demanding fairness. The HOA tried to silence opposition, but the crowd's fury only grew louder. The meeting ended in chaos, leaving the board shaken but still unyielding. Word spread beyond the neighborhood. Local news stations picked up the story, broadcasting the veteran's plight. Headlines painted the HOA as unpatriotic, sparking outrage across the community and beyond. Supporters left flags on his lawn, turning it into a sea of red, white, and blue. The HOA, once confident in its authority, now faced public shame. Even officials began weighing in, reminding the board of the veteran's legal rights. What began as an internal battle had become a national spectacle. The HOA tried to regain control, but the court of public opinion was already against them. Facing lawsuits, fines, and overwhelming backlash, board members began resigning one by one. The president clung to power, but her credibility had evaporated. Petitions circulated for her removal, and neighbors once afraid now stood united. The veteran's persistence had exposed the HOA's abuse of authority, unraveling its grip on the neighborhood. The flag, still waving, became a symbol of victory and resilience. The HOA's power, once absolute, was now in ruins. The community prepared for the final vote, a decisive moment that would determine whether respect or control would define their future. The vote was swift, the outcome undeniable. The president was removed, the HOA restructured, and new policies established to protect residents' rights. The veteran stood proudly on his lawn as neighbors cheered, the American flag billowing in the wind. What began as harassment had ended in triumph, leaving the board humiliated and powerless. The ordeal left scars, but also unity, as neighbors learned the strength of standing together. The veteran never sought glory, only the right to honor his service. And in the end, his quiet act of defiance reshaped the neighborhood forever, proving principle can defeat control.